door, and God's door is always open, always, no matter who you are or what you're about. God's door is always open. God is a magnificent creator of everything and created everything out of itself. We are all God's stuff. How immaculate is that? How wonderful is that? God created everything in my life, my peace, my joy, my wealth, my abundance, everything. And as I know he's done this for me, I know he's done this for each and every one of you. You are eminent creations of God. You are beautiful, powerful beings and have everything at your fingertips. There is a glitch though. You have to turn to God and say, yes, God, I want to be a partaker of my love. I want to be a partaker of your love and a partaker of all of the gifts you have given me. And we are showing this today by our very presence here in the sanctuary and on Facebook. We are saying yes to God. Yes, bring on my understanding, bring on my wealth, bring on my peace, bring on everything that's good for me. I am open and receptive. And we have a wonderful service here today with the Reverend Michael Summers and our singer Pat Clark and Mike at the piano. It's a wonderful service today, and we are open and we are receptive, and we say yes, yes, yes to all our glory, and we let it unfold now, and so it is. So it is.
Thank you so much, Mary, and thank you for your wonderful meditation this morning as well. And thank you, Pat and Mike. Beautiful. I am Don Taylor, practitioner and board member here at CSLTV, and this morning I'm your host. So it is my honor to welcome you here this morning, both here in the sanctuary and those out there online. CSLTV is an inclusive, welcoming, and spiritual community. We know that we are each a part of the divine life expressing out into the world. We realize that everything in this life is spiritual, and we are connected and supported by the presence and the power of that we call God. So it is in the spirit of love and light that I welcome you here this morning. And if you're new to CSL TV, I encourage you to sign up for our weekly email that describes what is going on here at the center. And please know that we are so grateful that you're here this morning. So I invite you to please stand for our morning hymn. This is the time for our moment of gratitude, when we pause in our day and call forward something that we are grateful for. It is a powerful spiritual practice that can shift our outlook, our experience of the day. It's simple and it can be done anywhere at any time. And so today, I'll invite you to close your eyes and connect with your breath. Just pause here and invite some stillness into your mind and into your body. I invite you to take a moment to be grateful for something that brings you a sense of the divine presence and a sense of joy. Breathe it into your heart and let it grow and expand. Resting in the warmth and the love of it. And when you're ready, gently begin to come back to this moment and this time. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Again, gratitude is a simple spiritual practice that can be done at anywhere, at any time, and it can definitely change your experience for the day. And so now I invite Mary forward to read it.
Thank you. Hey, good morning again. The reading for today is taken from the book, the title of which is 365 Days of Rich Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker on page 277. I would like to invite you again to close your eyes. You're closing your eyes a lot this day, but this is what I had already planned. So I would like to invite you to hear these words as a meditation. So if you would like to close your eyes and take a deep breath and just relax into the words of Ernest and Raymond that wrote so many years ago. My work in life is to express God. My work in life is to express God. I do this joyously, lovingly, in my home, my business, and all my other activities. I have faith that the life, love, and intelligence of spirit sustains me at every instance. Therefore, I cannot be tired, exhausted, or fatigued, for within me is the sustaining power of the unlimited mind. I work with ease, with accuracy, and with order. I know that through me, divine intelligence is giving something unusual and valuable into the world. I now release this divine mind into the activities of the day. I dedicate and consecrate my thoughts and feelings to the love of God, the life of the God, and the perfect action of infinite mind. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is. And so I invite you to be here.
Praise back.
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer. If you reach into your soul, and the music that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on. And you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, think of love and so be strong. And you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. It's a long road. You face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold.
Thank you so much. Love that song. This morning it is my pleasure to introduce to you our speaker for the day. This individual is a longtime member of this center. He is a much beloved member of this center. So please join me in bringing to the stage our beloved Reverend Michael.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's so good to be here this day. And look at all these beautiful faces that are facing me. I can't see everyone online, but I can see everyone here. And it's so good to see you. A little warm out there, but it's nice and cool in here. This is good. And I love your song. That fits so perfect. Because one of the things I'm going to tell you is that if you look in a mirror, you'll see a hero smiling back at you. Because that hero lies in all of us. And it needs to be awakened sometimes. But it's there. So the name of my talk is The Blessings of Heroes. And the theme for the Science of Mind this year is Living Everyday Wonder. And that's what it is. Every day is not only a wonder, but it's wonderful. And for the month's theme, it's Work, a Spiritual Perspective. It's a spiritual perspective. And I was so glad to be able to do this talk. So I pray every morning for the day. Every morning I pray for the day. I also prayed for guidance on this talk with success. And I do that in everything that I do. Webster's Dictionary describes hero as any person admired for their qualities and achievements, and regarded as an ideal or model, someone with a brave spirit, one who performs great deeds. And if we gave the time to think about it, we would find many people in our lives that fit this description. I wrote this talk because more than 3 heroes came to mind. And the more I wrote it, the more heroes came to mind. I couldn't put them all in. I'd be going on for hours. Oneness, Richard Rohr said, oneness is not a vague, mystical notion, but rooted in scientific fact. Even the atoms we breathe are physically the same as the stardust of the Big Bang. We share those atoms. We are connected to all. And that is so very true. Now, metaphysics. The scientists of today are closer than ever before to agreeing with the metaphysicians that God is creative intelligence or mind, everywhere present in the universe and manifesting through every created thing. Metaphysics is more than a speculative philosophy. It is the science of being. We are all spiritual beings. And I was so glad to discover this in my life because it changed my life. Now today, and I know you know this hero, Chesley Sully Sullenberg. On January 15, 2009, he was flying an airplane. He just took off, and as he was taking off and they were gaining altitude, they hit a flock of birds, splattered the plane, and splattered both jet engines, knocked them both out. And he was talking to the flight person, and the person said, "Well, you still have one on idle. You can make it back to the airport. You can go back to LaGuardia, or you can go to Newark." And so Sully checked and tried to start both engines. Both he and his co-pilot had a protocol, and they went through the protocol and found they didn't have both engines. They were both gone. And he was no longer ascending, he was descending. And all he could do was glide the plane. It was a glider. It wasn't a plane anymore. And when he noticed, he looked out the window, he could see that the buildings were higher than he was. So there was no way that he could make it back to the airport. And all I could see was that beautiful Hudson River down below. And he knew what he had to do. He had been flying over 42 years, but he was being judged by the aviation board for 204 seconds, or 3.5 minutes, because they said he could get back to the airport without landing in the Hudson River, and he knew he couldn't. When he was growing up with airplanes, his dad taught him about flying. So he knew all about flying since he was a kid. And the thing about growing up was that he was flying jet fighters in the service. And at one time, he was in trouble with his jet. And when he went in for a landing, because there was no other way of doing it, he had to go in tail first and glide in. And that told him he had to do the same thing with this big plane he was flying. And so he had that experience. And it was, and so that he knew what he had to do. He lost radio contact, and all he could see was that beautiful river. And people on both sides saw what was taking place. And the party boats saw this and realized that he was going down, and they had to do something about it too. So these party boats were heroes, because they went out to find the downed plane and rescue the passengers. Now when Sully came in for a landing, guess what? Tail first. So it was like a skipping stone on the water, and he glided in. If he had gone in nose first, the plane would have broken. It wouldn't have worked. But see, he investigated all of the accidents that took place with that plane, because he wanted to know what he was capable of, or what other people were capable of, so that he could be prepared. That famous Boy Scout motto, be prepared for what's to come. So, as he was going down, he made sure the crew had the passengers prepared for a crash. That was important for him, so he was in touch with the crew, the stewardesses and everyone in the back, and everyone was doing what they had to do in case of a crash. Okay? But it turned out to be a forced water landing and not a crash. And so when they got on the water, the crew know what to do. Open the doors, get the people out on the wings, and get these the other doors open with the floaters, you know, the things that inflate and what have you, and get the people out of the plane. Sully went to the back of the plane to make sure everyone was out of the plane. And he came up to the front and was the last one off the plane. That's what a wonderful captain does. A brave captain. A captain that knows what he's doing. The press and everyone thought he was a hero. Guess who didn't? The aviation board. They said, well, computer simulation said that you could have made it back to the airport. And he said, I don't think so. Because the computer simulations, as soon as the engines went out, they made the computer simulations turn for the airport. The thing of it was, he had to check both engines to make sure they were gone and do the protocol about the airplane and to make sure that everything was okay in it. So they told him that he was wrong. But he says, you know something? You're not including the human factor. He says, we had to check everything because you said we had an idling engine and we didn't. So they gave him 35 seconds off of the 3.5 minutes. They put that in the simulator, and guess what? The simulators crashed. They crashed. So he was right. And the thing of it was, they were still looking at the engine because the engine, when he landed, fell off and sunk. But they picked it up, and guess what? They found it was destroyed. It wasn't idling. And the aviation board thanked him for saving 100 and there's so many passengers, 155 passengers. He was a hero, and they declared it too. And the passengers got together and couldn't thank him enough. And so that he was a hero, but he didn't feel like a hero. He felt that he was just doing his job. And that's what he did. That stood out in my mind that I had to share that, because that was, to me, was a hero. But there's another story. Remember I told you I had 3 heroes? Probably more than that. I've got another one too. But I've got to share with you that he was inspired, and Ernest Holmes says inspiration. From the human side, inspiration means contact with the subconscious of the individual or the race. From the divine, it means contact with the universal spirit. Sully had faith and trust. He was calm, cool, and collected. He did not panic because he had this faith and trust. Intuition. Intuition is God in man, revealing to him the realities of being. Just as instinct guides the animals, so will intuition guide man, if he would allow it to operate through him. The ability to know without any process of reasoning. God knows only intuitively, and we have that God in us. And Sully knew it. He uses intuitiveness and his imagination, and he got him through it. You know what? Let's see if I can find it here. I got to interrupt this with this little message. A mother found her little boy with pencil and paper making a sketch. When asked what he was doing, he answered promptly and with considerable pride, "I'm drawing a picture of God." His mother smiled and said, "That's sweet, honey, but you can't really do that. God is infinite. God is the divine spark in you, in everyone. But nobody knows what God looks like." Her son, without looking up from his work, said, "Well, they will in a minute." How do you inject that? So the next story is about gifted hands, and it's about Dr. Benjamin Carson, MD, who works at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, he was black growing up in a white neighborhood. His mom cleaned houses. He didn't have a dad. And she was doing the best that she could. And he was not doing well in school. And she found that the kids would call him stupid, and even the teachers. But his mom stood up for him and said he wasn't. His mom found he needed glasses, for one thing. He needed glasses. So he got his glasses. So he was doing better in school. And she told him he could do better if he used his imagination. But he couldn't do that watching TV. So guess what? She introduced her two sons to the library. And there they had to take out 2 books a week and write an essay on each book. You think that made them smarter and brighter? Uh-huh. Because it got him away from the boob tube. Yeah. So he excelled in school. He passed all the other kids. Oh, guess how it turned out to be stupid? It wasn't him. He passed with flying colors, and he got a scholarship to Yale. And in Yale, he learned that the brain is 3 pounds of gray matter. And the teacher said, your dreams are all possible. The brain. And that fascinated him. 3 pounds of gray matter. That's what we all have. Now, his difficulty was hearing lectures. And what he discovered was he could read the books instead of listening to the lectures and get more out of it. And that's what he did, because he knew who he was and what he was capable of doing. And he passed with flying colors, Yale. So he applied a job at Johns Hopkins. 115 people applied. How many openings were there? 2. So they interviewed him. And when they interviewed him, he said, the brain was a miracle. We are all blessed. We are all blessed gifts and skills, the inspiration for unbelievable accomplishments. His faith and trust in God got him through emergency situations. So he started working in the hospital. They accepted him because they saw how brilliant he was, how dedicated he was, and the faith and trust he had in God. And again, intuition and imagination, he used them both. That's what made him a hero. Because what happened was that he would get the difficult cases. And one of them came from overseas where the boys were joined in the head and in the brain. And the experience was that they could separate the twins, but only one survived. And he wanted to do more than that. He believed that he could. He believed that he could. And guess what? He used his imagination. And I know God gave him their wherewithal to be able to do it. And he figured it out. So what he did was he got 2 teams. He couldn't do it alone. He made up 2 teams. two separate beds in the operating room. It was quite crowded, but that's what he decided to do. He used his imagination and intuition. And this is what he did. He didn't want them to bleed to death, so what he did was he stopped the heart and drained the blood and put in like an antifreeze into the blood. He had 1 hour. They had 1 hour to separate the twins. And he worked at it. He separated them, gave one off to the one thing, one off to one group, and the other one he did. And guess what? They were able to finish the process with 30 seconds to spare. They drained they put the blood back in and started the hearts with those patterns. And guess what? They both started. When I saw that, it touched my heart to see this happening. Was he a hero? You bet. His parents, the parents couldn't thank him enough. So he saved the first time ever where both twins were saved through separation. And he does this now all the time because he's become an expert at it. Is he a hero? I think so. But you know, he had a lot of heroes helping him in that operating room because he couldn't do it alone. That was, to me, was amazing. So I had to have a third story. Every time you write a talk, you need 3 stories. Okay. So this is my story. In 2017, I was in Idlewild, and I wasn't feeling good. And we were in a hotel, and across the street was a medical clinic. And my wife says, "You've got to go to the clinic," because I was getting pains in my chest, my back, and my neck, and my jaw. So we went over there, and the nurse checked me out and discovered I was having a heart attack. Was she a hero? You bet. She called the paramedics, and the paramedics came, and they put me on a stretcher and gave me some stuff, and I don't know what it was, but it did knock me out because I could see everything that was going on, and I was thankful for that. And guess what the paramedics did? They took me down to a heliport, and the helicopter from Palm Springs came up and picked me up. And they wanted to know if I wanted to go to Palm Springs, and I said, no. And then they said, well, you take it to Hemet. I said, nope. I want to go to Temecula Valley. Because this is a heart center. And so they put me on the helicopter, and I was flown down there. And guess who was waiting? Dr. Ho with a stretcher. And he wheeled me into the hot room. They have a hot room set up. And here on the hot room is this big screen TV. And I'm watching everything they're doing because they're running a thing up and into my heart. And I can see it all happening right on the screen. And all of a sudden they put it in this certain vein, and the vein opens up, and you can see the black go into the vein, the blood go into that vein on the heart, on the left ventricle. And they had to put a stent in. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is wonderful. And then they wheeled me down into intensive care, and Diane, who had to drive back down the mountain because she had to check out and get our things and come back home. So she didn't know what was going on until we got to the hospital. Still touches my heart. And I met with Dr. Ho, and he showed me what took place on his little computer screen. And he said, you know something? in a little while you wouldn't have been here. The timing was perfect. Because this procedure, or this that took place in my heart, was called a widow maker. The widow maker. And it was like, oh my God, I am so thankful. But you know something? While this was happening, while I was having these pains, I was praying. I believe in prayer. I pray for anything and everything. And I prayed for the perfect people, and guess what? The perfect people were there. I prayed that I could get the perfect treatment, and guess what? The perfect treatment was there. And did it save my life? You bet it did. God is so good. God loves me and us so much that we will pray for you. We people here believe in the prayer. And what I would like you to do is take the classes so you can pray for yourself too. Because this teaching works. It changed my thinking and it changed my life. I know what hell is like because that's what I lived before I came into this teaching. And now I know what heaven is like. And it's so much better. So much. But I've learned that complaining doesn't help. And I would complain a lot in my past life. And guess what? I was miserable. But once I discovered that I could be thankful, guess what? God gave me more things to be thankful for. That's the way this works. Ernest Holmes discovered to me the secret of life. And it is so good. So how many heroes did I have? I had my wife. I had the nurse across the street. I had the paramedics. I had the helicopter pilot. I had Dr. Ho in the hospital. And guess what? After it was over, I went and thanked each one of them because they saved my life. And I'm here. I am here now because of the heroes. You know something? You have a hero in you. And one day you'll be able to use it if you believe it. But you got to believe it. It's done unto you if you believe. That's the way this works. Don't laugh at it. Don't say it's not true. Because guess what? It can be true if you truly believe it. So let us come together and know that God is present right here where we are. In us, as us, expressing through us and all around us, for we are one with this power and presence. We are one with the goodness of God that resides in us. And I know that this goodness of God is guiding us, showing us the way through this life, prompting us through our imagination, through our intuition, through the people that are in our life, those wonderful people that God brings to us. So I know that we discover the hero that we are, and we open to it. And just let it be. Just believe it and let it be. And it'll show us the way. So I know this is taking place for each and every one of us here in this sanctuary and here online. That God is doing its perfect work, as God always does. So I just give great thanks for this and release these words to God's love and God's law. And I let it unfold and let it be. And so it is.
So it is. lots of heroes, and one of them was called God. It's awesome. This is the time of this, in our service when we have the chance to share our financial gifts with the center. And so I invite our ushers to come forward. And as they come forward, I'd like to thank all of our volunteers, because without the volunteers, we couldn't do what we do here. It is through your financial support that CSL TV can continue to offer services to inspire and support us all in living fuller lives. We are grateful for the generosity of this community, and we know that we are joined in commitment to bring the vision of CSL TV to life. And that vision is being a light in this valley and in the world, and a light to all of those who can be supported and healed by our message. And for those of you that are online, there are basically 3 ways for you to contribute. 1, you can call the office after the service today and speak with our administrator, Cecilia Burks. 2, you can go to the website and click on the donate button. And 3, you can use the snail mail and mail your offering here to the center. And the address will be in the chat. So now, can ushers please come forward? Okay, let me do a blessing as you come forward. Join me as we know that this offering is a gift from God. We are each a channel of giving and receiving. And as we give, prosperity and abundance flow back to us. that is part of the abundance of the universe. And it moves through us and out into this valley and the world to bring light and love to all of those who are searching for support. I know that this offering multiplies and supports CSL TV in fully expressing God's love in all ways. And so I simply release this and let it go. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
So it is. Divine
All
love.
right. Okay, please join me in our information of abundance together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now.
It's my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
It is now time for our announcements, and we have lots of them. Beth Haas will be facilitating a soul cards workshop on Sunday, September 11th from 1 to 4 p.m. in the community room. Come find your soul's whispers for lessons and blessings and wonders and miracles. The cost of this workshop is $20, and it includes all materials. And you can sign up at the welcome table out in the breezeway. Become a member of CSL TV. We will be having a ceremony to welcome our new members on September 18th during the Sunday service. If you were with us for our membership orientation a couple of weeks ago and wish to become a member, please fill out the membership application that is out at the welcome table and hand it in by September 11th. The conscious creation process to create a vision for our new minister will be after service on September 18th and September 25th. All are welcome to join in this opportunity for connection and creation of the future for our center. The Gifts of Spirit group meets the second Monday of the month at 6:30 p.m. at Ann Woodward's house. This month will include drumming, so please contact Ann for more information. All men are invited to join the CSL TV Men's Ministry for fellowship and support. We meet at 9 a.m. for breakfast on the second and fourth Wednesdays, and at Journey's restaurant at Pachanga. And the first and third Wednesdays, we meet on Zoom, also at 9 a.m. We are presently exploring evening events to accommodate those that cannot attend the morning meetings. Please contact Reverend Mike.
We're going to meet every Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock on Zoom.
Okay.
And I sent out an email yesterday about that.
Okay,
And if anybody's interested, they can sign the sheet and we'll put them on the email.
great.
Okay?
Great, thank you. Book study. Our book study group meets at 10 a.m. on Wednesdays. If you would like to join the group, please contact Ann Woodward or Don Taylor so that we can send you the Zoom link. So Ann, I'll have to get it from you. If you are interested in meeting to begin planning for our youth program, please sign up at the welcome table out in the breezeway. We will be starting our choir again in preparation for the holidays. If you're interested in singing and joining the choir, please let us know, and we will include you. So this concludes our announcement.
Hey, Don, would you tell them how much of us
have food, sandwiches in the social hall after this service. And now I invite our practitioners to come forward. This group is our prayer warriors. If you want a need prayer for any concern that you may have, I invite you to fill the form out in the back of the room and put it in the box. This is the group that will pray for you all week long. If you have some burning need today, we will have practitioners in the breezeway after this service to assist you in prayer. And so now let us go within and recognize that divine expression, that infinite power and presence, that one divine intelligence, that living spirit that I call God. And I know that God, first of all, is infinite and unconditional love. And so I know that love conquers all. And as we live our life going forward, and as problems and chaos appears, just know that unconditional love solves it all. And so I know that each of us are divine emanations of God, and we each are endowed with those same qualities of God. And so therefore we are endowed with unconditional love. And let that love go with us always as we are guided and supported by God. And so I simply know that this day has been good because it is all God. And I simply let it be. And so it is.
So it is.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it go. And this is what you have to say: I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. This is only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God.
So as we leave, I know that the light of God goes with us, and so it is.
So it is.